Sergeant Zack Thanner stepped out of his drop pod onto the purple soil of the alien world, squinting in the harsh glare of the binary suns. The rest of his squad emerged behind him, weapons at the ready, scanning the environment. "Atmo is breathable," Zack said, checking his wrist scanner. "No signs of immediate threats. Looks like we're clear for now." Private Jenkins kicked at a cluster of shimmering blue mushrooms. "What kind of backwater place did the brass send us to this time?" "Can it, Jenkins?" Zack snapped. "We've got a job to do." Command said one of our deep space probes picked up some weird energy readings coming from those ruins over that ridge. Our orders are to investigate and report back. Mission briefing. Ruins? You mean that crumbling pile of rocks? Private Hernandez asked, gesturing with her pulse rifle. That's affirmative. Intel suggests it may be an ancient alien temple of some kind, possibly of the Soxgar, that race of belligerent humanoids we tangled with in the Onari sector last year. "Gee, I hate those guys," Jenkins muttered. "I still have nightmares about their brutal tactics and bloodthirsty ways." Zack ignored him and waved the squad forward. "Cut the chatter and keep alert. We don't know what we're dealing with here. Could be booby traps, automated defenses, or who knows what. Stay frosty." Advancing to the ruins, they advanced cautiously, keeping to cover where they could. The landscape was barren and forbidding, strewn with jagged boulders and stunted, twisted vegetation. A hot, arid wind moaned across the flats, carrying an acrid stench. As they drew closer to the ruins, Zack could make out more details through his helmet visor magnification. The structure appeared to be a squat, asymmetrical pyramid, constructed of cyclopean blocks of pitted black stone. Strange symbols and worn carvings covered its surface. Several of the blocks near the peak had crumbled away, revealing dark openings into the interior. Entering the temple. "Well, doesn't this place just look cheery as heck?" Jenkins said. "Hernandez, you getting any energy readings?" The corporal studied her handheld device. "Affirmative. Registering strong emanations coming from inside the structure. Nothing like I've seen before. These readings are off the charts." "Enough gawking," Zack said. "We're going in. Jenkins, Hernandez, cover our 6. Chang, Kowalski, with me. Activate helmet cams and stay sharp." They stacked up by a gaping triangular portal and switched on their rifle-mounted floodlights before proceeding inside. The beams cut through a hazy miasma of dust and pierced the oppressive gloom. The air was still and stifling, discovering the alien technology. The passageway led to a grand vaulted chamber deep in the heart of the temple. Incongruous banks of sleek, high-tech-looking machinery and control panels lined the walls, humming and blinking. But Zack's attention was immediately drawn to the room's central feature. "Well, hello there, handsome," Jenkins quipped. In the center of the chamber stood a towering statue carved of glossy black stone, easily 3 meters tall. It depicted a powerful humanoid male, his chiseled features stern and noble. Thick cables ran from ports on the statue to the alien machinery. "What do you think it is?" Hernandez asked. "Some kind of alien god." "Maybe," Zack said. "Kowalski, Chung, get scans and samples of everything. I want." A thunderous boom shook the temple, sending them staggering. Dust rained down from the ancient stone ceiling. Alarms blared from the alien equipment. Confrontation with the Soxgar warrior. "Back to the entrance, double time." "We're extracting now," Zack ordered. They sprinted for the exit, but a hulking armored form blocked their path. It was humanoid, standing nearly 7 feet tall, with massively broad shoulders and rippling muscles visible beneath its form-fitting black bodysuit. A fearsome helmet concealed its features. It carried a vicious-looking double-headed battle axe in its powerful hands. "Soxgar," Zack yelled. "Stand back. I've got this." The alien warrior bellowed a challenge and charge, swinging its axe in a whistling arc. Zack ducked under the blow and rammed his shoulder into the Soxgar's midsection, driving it back. They traded blows in a furious melee, Zack's pulse rifle forgotten as he grappled with the alien hand-to-hand. The Socksker was immensely strong, but Zack was faster, his human agility allowing him to evade the worst of the alien's attacks. He managed to get behind the Socksker and lock his arm around its throat in a chokehold. The alien thrashed and bucked, but Zack held on grimly, squeezing with all his strength. With a final convulsive shudder, the Socksker went limp. Zack released it, and the massive body toppled to the floor with a crash. Aftermath. Panting, Zack turned to his squad. They were staring at him in awe. "Holy cow, Sarge," Jenkins said. "That was some straight-up action. Hero stuff right there." Zack waved off the praise, wincing as his bruised body protested. "Just doing my job. Now let's get the heck out of here." A chime sounded from the alien machinery, making them all flinch. Zack turned to see a holographic screen flicker to life above the control panels. The image showed a vast Sockskar city, its sleek towers gleaming under an alien sun. Hundreds of warriors marched and drilled in perfect unison, assembling for war. "Avo," Zack breathed. The Socksker were preparing to unleash their armies on an unsuspecting galaxy once again. He had to warn Earth, the Alliance, everyone. Another chime, and a new image appeared. A lush garden courtyard filled with dozens of beautiful humanoid females. They were clad in diaphanous gowns that left little to the imagination, their life bodies swaying sinuously to some unheard music. Their eyes smoldered with undisguised hunger as they stared out of the screen. A booming alien voice emanated from the machinery, speaking in strange, heavily accented but understandable English. "Human, you have bested our fiercest champion in single combat. By the ancient rights of our people, you have won the privilege of mating with our females. You must sire the next generation of Sockskar warriors and strengthen our species with your superior genes. It is a great honor. You have until the next solar alignment to complete this sacred duty. If you do not..." The image changed again to a view of Earth, shimmering blue and green and vulnerable. "Your world will suffer the consequences." The transmission cut off, leaving Zack standing slack-jawed in stunned silence as the implication sank in. Somewhere in the distance, a gong began to sound, low and ominous. The females on the screen started writhing with greater intensity, their eyes boring into Zack. Sarge," Jenkins said, scratching his head. "Did that thing just say what I think it said? Because it sounded an awful lot like you just got drafted to be the galaxy's busiest sperm donor." "Shut up," Jenkins, Zack, and Hernandez said in unison. Zack ran a hand down his face. This was beyond FUBAR. Somewhere in the universe, the gods of war were laughing their butts off at him. "Congrats on the promotion to Intergalactic Ladies' Man, sir," Kowalski said, slapping him on the shoulder. "Guess we know who's buying the first round of space penicillin back at base." "I hate you all," Zack groaned. "I should have been an accountant." He glanced back at the screen, where the Sockskar females were still undulating provocatively, beckoning to him with come-hither stares and sensual caresses of their own bodies. "I am so screwed," Zack muttered, and not in the fun way. A new dilemma. Sergeant Zack Thanner stood in stunned silence, the alien ultimatum still echoing in his ears. He glanced at his team, their faces a mix of bewilderment and anxiety. A tough decision. "All right, everyone," Zack began, trying to regain his composure. "We need to think this through. Command needs to know about the Sockskar's plans, but this mating situation, we need a plan." Private Jenkins snorted. "A plan? Sounds like you just need a room and some space flowers, Sarge." "Not funny, Jenkins," Hernandez snapped. "This is serious. If Zack doesn't comply, Earth is in danger." Zack nodded. "We have to contact Command, but we also need to figure out how to handle this without compromising our mission or our integrity." Contacting Command, Hernandez activated their long-range communicator, sending a priority message to Earth. "This is Recon Team Alpha. reporting urgent intel. Soxgar are preparing for war. They've issued an ultimatum. Details attached. Request immediate guidance. They waited in tense silence as the message was transmitted. Moments later, a response crackled through. This is General Matthews. Sergeant Thenner, your report is received. The Soxgar threat is alarming. As for their demand, we need more information. Do not engage in any actions until further orders. Hold your position and gather intel. We'll send reinforcements. The ethical dilemma. Great, Zach muttered. We're stuck here until they figure out what to do. Hernandez sighed. This is a nightmare. The Soxgar's demand is insane, but we can't ignore the threat to Earth. Zach looked at the holographic image of the Soxgar females, their eyes still locked onto him. There has to be another way. We need to learn more about this temple and its technology. Maybe there's something we can use to turn the tables. Exploring the temple, they began a thorough search of the temple, documenting everything. The alien machinery hummed with energy, its purpose still a mystery. Hernandez focused on the control panels, trying to decipher the alien symbols. Hey, Sarge, Jenkins called from across the room. Check this out. Zach walked over to see Jenkins pointing at a hidden compartment behind the statue. Inside was a small, intricately carved box. A hidden clue. Zach carefully opened the box, revealing a collection of ancient scrolls and a strange, glowing crystal. Hernandez, get over here. What do you make of this? Hernandez examined the scrolls. These look like some kind of records or instructions. If we can translate them, they might give us clues about the Soxgar's technology and their plans. And this crystal? Zach asked, holding it up. Could be a power source or a key to something. Hernandez speculated. We need to study it. Uncovering secrets. As they worked, Hernandez managed to translate part of the scrolls. It says here that the temple houses a powerful weapon, a device capable of disrupting energy fields. If we can activate it, we might be able to disable the Soxgar's war preparations. Zach's eyes lit up. That could be our answer. We need to find this weapon and figure out how to use it. They followed the instructions on the scrolls, navigating deeper into the temple. Hidden passageways and ancient traps challenged their progress, but they pressed on, driven by the urgency of their mission. The weapon room. Finally, they'd reached a massive door adorned with alien runes. Hernandez deciphered the inscription. This is it. The weapon should be behind this door. Zach took a deep breath. All right, team. Stay alert. We don't know what's waiting for us. They pushed the door open, revealing a vast chamber. In the center stood a towering, ominous device, pulsing with energy. Strange control panels surrounded it, their symbols glowing faintly. The activation process. Hernandez approached the panels, carefully following the instructions from the scrolls. I think I can activate it, but it's risky. We don't know what kind of defenses it might have. Do it, Zach ordered. We don't have a choice. Hernandez entered the final sequence, and the device roared to life. Energy crackled through the air, and the entire temple seemed to vibrate. Unexpected visitors. Before they could celebrate, the chamber doors burst open, and a squad of heavily armed Soxgar warriors stormed in. Their leader, a fearsome warrior even larger than the one Zach had defeated, bellowed a challenge. You dare defile our sacred temple. You will pay with your lives. Zach raised his weapon. Stand your ground. Protect Hernandez. The final stand. The team engaged the Soxgar in a fierce battle. Pulse rifles blazed, and the air was filled with the sounds of combat. Zach fought with everything he had, his determination unwavering. As the battle raged, Hernandez managed to activate the weapon. A blinding light enveloped the chamber, and the Soxgar warriors froze, their weapons falling from their hands. The weapon's power. The device emitted a low hum, and the energy fields around the Soxgar warriors flickered and died. They fell to the ground, incapacitated. Zach turned to his team, his breath ragged. We did it. The weapon worked. Hernandez nodded, her face pale but triumphant. We need to get this information to command. This weapon could turn the tide against the Soxgar. A new hope. As they prepared to leave the temple, Zack glanced back at the statue and the dormant machinery. The Soxgar's plans had been thwarted, but the threat was far from over. We've bought ourselves some time, he said, but the fight isn't over. We need to stay vigilant and be ready for whatever comes next. The team nodded in agreement, their resolve stronger than ever. They had faced impossible odds and emerged victorious, proving once again that humanity's ingenuity and determination could overcome any challenge. Reinforcements and revelation. Zack and his team emerged from the temple, carrying the scrolls and the glowing crystal. The sense of urgency was palpable. They needed to get this information to command as soon as possible. As they navigated back through the dense jungle, Zack's communicator crackled to life. Reinforcements arrive. Sergeant Thanner, this is General Matthews. Reinforcements are en route to your location. ETA 5 minutes. Hold your position. Zack breathed a sigh of relief. Roger that, General. We've got critical intel and a potential game changer. They reached a clearing just as the sky was filled with the roar of engines. Several dropships descended, and a squad of heavily armed soldiers disembarked, securing the perimeter. Among them was Captain Sarah Keegan, an old friend of Zack's. Looks like you found yourself in quite a mess, Zack, Sarah said with a grin. Wouldn't be us if it were easy, Zack replied. We've got a lot to brief you on. Debrief and strategy. Back at the temporary base camp, Zack and Hernandez laid out the scrolls and the crystal. Sarah listened intently as they explained their findings. So this weapon can disable the Soxgar's energy fields? Sarah asked, eyes wide. That's what it looks like, Hernandez confirmed. We managed to activate it in the temple, and it took down a squad of Soxgar warriors without a fight. Sarah leaned back, deep in thought. If we can replicate this on a larger scale, we might have a chance to neutralize their threat. Zack nodded. We need to get this back to command for analysis. This could change everything. A new revelation. As they prepared to transmit the data, Hernandez continued studying the scrolls. There's something else here, she said slowly. These scrolls mention a hidden location where the Soxgar store their most advanced technology. If we can find it, we might gain an even greater advantage. Zack's interest was piqued. Where is it? Hernandez pointed to a section of the scroll. According to this, it's located in a mountain range not far from here. It's heavily guarded, but if we can get in, it could turn the tide. The next mission. General Matthews' voice came through the communicator again. Sergeant Thanner, excellent work. We're analyzing the data now. Proceed to the coordinates Hernandez has found. Capturing that technology is now our top priority. Reinforcements will follow. Zack glanced at his team. You heard the general. Let's gear up. We're going mountain climbing. Into the mountains. The journey to the mountain range was grueling. Dense forests gave way to rocky terrain, and the air grew thinner as they ascended. But the team pressed on, driven by the importance of their mission. As they neared the coordinates, they spotted a heavily fortified facility built into the side of the mountain. Soxgar patrols roamed the area, their advanced weaponry glinting in the sunlight. Zack studied the layout. We need a plan. We can't just charge in. A stealthy approach. Hernandez scanned the area with her tactical visor. There's a ventilation system that leads into the main compound. If we can access it, we might be able to slip in undetected. All right, Zack agreed. We'll split into 2 teams. Hernandez and I will take the vents. Sarah, you and your team create a diversion. Keep them busy but stay safe. Infiltration. Hernandez and Zack crawled through the narrow vents, their movements slow and deliberate. The air was thick with the hum of machinery. Finally, they emerged into a dimly lit control room. Alien consoles and screens filled the space, displaying streams of data. Hernandez quickly hacked into the system, downloading everything she could. "We've hit the jackpot, Zach. Weapon schematics, troop movements, even communication logs." Zach nodded, keeping an eye on the door. "Let's move. We need to get this back to base." The escape. As they retraced their steps, alarms blared. The Soxker had discovered the diversion. Sarah's voice crackled over the comms. "Zach, we've been compromised. Get out of there." Zach and Hernandez picked up the pace, racing through the vents. They burst out into the open, just as Soxker forces closed in. The firefight was intense, but with the reinforcements providing cover, they managed to reach the extraction point. A hard-won victory. Back at base, they transmitted the data to command. General Matthews' face appeared on the screen, a rare smile on his face. "Outstanding work, team. This data is invaluable. We'll analyze it and prepare our next move. You've given us a fighting chance." Zach looked around at his team, exhausted but victorious. "We did it, but the fight's not over. We've got a long road ahead." Sarah clapped him on the back. "And we'll be right there with you, every step of the way." The team shared a moment of camaraderie, knowing that their strength, resilience, and ingenuity had brought them this far, and would carry them through the battles to come. The battle for control. With the new intelligence at hand, the Alliance began strategizing their next move. The Soxker's fortifications were extensive, and their technology was formidable. But now, armed with the secrets Zach and his team had uncovered, humanity had a fighting chance. Preparation for battle. The Alliance's base buzzed with activity. Engineers worked around the clock, analyzing the captured data and adapting the alien technology for human use. The atmosphere was electric with anticipation and determination. Zach, Sarah, Hernandez, and the rest of their team gathered in the briefing room. General Matthews stood at the front, outlining their plan. "We've identified key Soxker installations," Matthews said, pointing to a holographic map. "Our primary target is their central command hub. If we can take it out, we cripple their coordination and gain a significant advantage." He turned to Zach. "Sergeant Thenner, you'll lead the assault team. Captain Keegan, you'll command the support unit. Hernandez, you'll be our tech specialist on the ground. The assault begins." The night before the assault, the team made final preparations. Zach walked through the camp, seeing familiar faces and feeling the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. He found a quiet spot, reflecting on the journey that had brought them here. The following morning, the assault teams assembled. Troop carriers and assault vehicles lined up, engines rumbling. Zach climbed into the lead vehicle, glancing back at his team. "Ready?" he asked. Sarah nodded. "Let's give them hell." Entering the fray, the convoy moved out, the terrain growing increasingly hostile as they approached the Soxker command hub. The first wave of resistance came in the form of aerial drones, sleek and deadly. Anti-aircraft units opened fire, filling the sky with explosions. "Keep moving," Zach shouted over the comms. "We need to reach that command hub." Ground forces engage, exchanging heavy fire with Soxker soldiers. The air was thick with the sounds of battle, gunfire, explosions, and the cries of the wounded. Amidst the chaos, Zach's team pushed forward, determined to reach their objective. Breaching the command hub. As they neared the command hub, the resistance intensified. Soxker defenses were formidable, but the Alliance had a secret weapon. Hernandez had managed to adapt the ancient crystal's energy to disrupt the Soxker's shields. "Deploy the disruptor," Zach ordered. Hernandez activated the device, and a pulse of energy spread out, causing the Soxker's shields to flicker and fail. Alliance forces surged forward, breaking through the outer defenses. The final push. Inside the command hub, the corridors were narrow and winding. Soxker soldiers fought fiercely, but the Alliance's determination was unyielding. Zach and his team moved with precision, clearing room after room. In the central control room, they faced the final challenge. The Soxker commander, A towering figure with menacing armor awaited them. His eyes glowed with a cold, calculated fury. "You will not stop us," the commander hissed. Zack stepped forward, weapon raised. "We'll see about that." The showdown. The battle with the Soxgar commander was intense. He moved with inhuman speed and strength, his weapons devastating. But Zack and his team fought with everything they had. Blaster fire filled the air, and the room shook with the force of their clash. Hernandez managed to interface with the control systems, creating a distraction. Sarah and Zack took the opportunity to launch a coordinated attack, overwhelming the commander. With a final, desperate move, Zack delivered the finishing blow. The commander fell, and the control room fell silent. Hernandez quickly secured the systems, transmitting vital data back to the Alliance. Victory and sacrifice. As the dust settled, Zack looked around at his team. They were battered and bruised, but victorious. The Soxgar command hub was theirs, and with it, a critical turning point in the war. General Matthews' voice came over the comms. "Outstanding work, team. This is a major victory. We're one step closer to ending this war." Zack allowed himself a moment of relief, but he knew the battle was far from over. The Soxgar would regroup, and there were still many challenges ahead. But for now, they had struck a powerful blow for humanity. As they prepared to return to base, Zack and his team shared a quiet moment of reflection. They had fought hard and sacrificed much, but their resolve remained unbroken. The spirit of humanity, its creativity, curiosity, and strength, shone brighter than ever. Allies and betrayals. The victory at the Soxgar command hub had shifted the tide of the war, but it also brought new challenges. The Alliance celebrated their success, but Zack and his team knew that the Soxgar would retaliate with greater force. As they returned to base, the weight of the ongoing struggle pressed on their minds. New alliances. Upon their return, General Matthews gathered the leadership for a crucial briefing. "The Soxgar will be regrouping," he began. "We need more allies if we're going to sustain our momentum. Fortunately, we've made contact with several alien races who are also threatened by the Soxgar. They may be willing to join our cause." Zack leaned forward, intrigued. "Who are these potential allies?" Matthews displayed a hologram of 3 alien species: the technologically advanced Shirans, the fiercely independent Dravens, and the mysterious Icarans. Each had unique abilities and resources that could greatly benefit the Alliance. "We're sending diplomatic teams to negotiate alliances," Matthews continued. "Captain Keegan, you'll lead the team to the Shirans. Sergeant Thanner, you and Hernandez will handle the Dravens. We need to secure their support." The diplomatic mission. Zack and Hernandez prepared for their mission, gathering intel on the Dravens. Known for their martial prowess and strict code of honor, the Dravens were formidable warriors. Convincing them to join the Alliance would be no easy task. Their journey took them to a remote mountainous planet where the Draven settlement was located. As they descended into the dense forests, Zack marveled at the natural beauty and the imposing architecture of the Draven structures. At the Draven Council chamber, Zack and Hernandez were greeted by Warlord Rakar, a towering figure with piercing eyes. His demeanor was stoic, and his gaze seemed to penetrate their very souls. "Why should we trust humans?" Rakar asked bluntly. "What can you offer that we cannot achieve on our own?" Zack stepped forward, meeting Rakar's gaze. "We share a common enemy. The Soxgar threaten us all. Together, we can defeat them. Alone, we risk being overwhelmed." Gaining trust. Over several days, Zack and Hernandez worked tirelessly to earn the Draven's trust. They demonstrated their technological innovations, shared intelligence on Soxgar movements, and participated in rigorous training exercises alongside Draven warriors. Hernandez's expertise in adapting Soxgar technology particularly impressed the Dravens. He showcased a modified energy weapon that could penetrate Soxgar armor, earning the respect of Draven engineers. One evening, Zack sparred with Rakar in a ceremonial combat. The match was intense, testing both skill and endurance. By the end, Zach had earned Rekar's grudging respect. "You fight with honor," Rekar acknowledged. "Perhaps there is more to humans than I thought." Betrayal and deception. Just as the negotiations seemed to be progressing, an unexpected betrayal rocked the Alliance. The high-ranking officer within the human ranks, Colonel Voss, was revealed to be a Soxgar spy. He had been feeding the enemy critical information, compromising several missions. The revelation sent shockwaves through the Alliance. Trust was shattered, and suspicion ran high. Voss's betrayal threatened to unravel the delicate alliances being forged. General Matthews called an emergency meeting. "We must root out any other spies and restore trust within our ranks," he declared. "Our survival depends on unity." Unmasking the traitor, Zach, Sarah, and Hernandez were tasked with investigating Voss's network. Their search led them through a maze of encrypted communications and hidden agendas. They uncovered a web of deceit, revealing several other potential collaborators. One by one, they exposed the traitors, but the process was arduous and demoralizing. Each revelation felt like a blow, shaking their confidence and testing their resolve. Amidst the chaos, Zach received a cryptic message from an anonymous source within the Soxgar ranks. The message hinted at a deeper conspiracy, suggesting that the Soxgar had infiltrated more than just the military. They had agents within key political and scientific circles as well. Rebuilding trust. With the traitors exposed, the Alliance worked to rebuild trust. Security protocols were tightened, and new measures were implemented to safeguard against future infiltrations. The process was painful but necessary. The Drevens, witnessing the Alliance's resilience and determination, finally agreed to join the fight against the Soxgar. Warlord Rekar and his warriors pledged their support, adding a formidable new force to the Alliance. Back at the base, General Matthews addressed the assembled forces. "We've faced betrayal and deception, but we've come out stronger. We have new allies and renewed determination. The Soxgar will not defeat us." Moving forward, as the Alliance regrouped, Zach and his team took a moment to reflect on their journey. They had faced countless challenges and sacrifices, but their spirit remained unbroken. Sarah approached Zach, her expression resolute. "We've come a long way, but there's still a lot to do. The Soxgar won't stop until we're all gone." Zach nodded, determination burning in his eyes. "Then we won't stop either. We'll fight until the end." With new allies and a stronger resolve, the Alliance prepared for the next phase of the war. The road ahead was long and fraught with danger, but humanity's indomitable spirit would lead them forward. The final offensive. With the Drevens and Shurans now part of the Alliance, humanity and their allies prepared for the final offensive against the Soxgar. The momentum was on their side, but the Soxgar were far from defeated. They had fortified their positions and prepared for a fierce counterattack. Strategic planning. General Matthews convened a war council with the leaders of the Drevens and Shurans. The holographic display showed the locations of key Soxgar bases and supply lines. "Our objective is to strike at the heart of the Soxgar Empire," Matthews began. "We'll coordinate simultaneous attacks on their primary bases. Captain Keegan, you'll lead the strike on their Eastern Command Center. Sergeant Thanner, you and the Drevens will hit their main supply depot. The Shirans will disrupt their communications and provide air support." Warlord Rekar nodded. "The Drevens are ready. We'll crush their supply lines and weaken their forces." Shiran leader Zexar added, "Our advanced cloaking technology will allow us to infiltrate their defenses and sabotage their systems." Zach listened intently, absorbing every detail. The plan was ambitious and risky, but it was their best chance to end the war. The calm before the storm. The days leading up to the offensive were filled with intense preparations. Engineers worked around the clock to upgrade weapons and reinforce defenses. Soldiers trained rigorously, honing their skills and building camaraderie. Zach and Sarah found a moment of respite amid the chaos. They sat together, reflecting on their journey. "We've come so far," Sarah said quietly. "Do you think we'll make it?" Zack looked at her, determination in his eyes. "We have to, for everyone who's counting on us." The battle begins. The day of the offensive arrived. The Alliance forces moved with precision and coordination, launching simultaneous strikes across multiple fronts. The sky was filled with the roar of engines and the crackle of energy weapons. Zack led his team into the heart of the Sockskar Command Center. The battle was fierce, with explosions and laser fire lighting up the night. The Sockskar fought with desperate ferocity, but the Alliance forces pressed on, their resolve unwavering. Hernandez and the engineers worked to disable the Sockskar's automated defenses, while Sarah provided cover with her sniper rifle. Each step forward was hard-won, but they advanced relentlessly, turning the tide. As the battle raged, Zack's team reached the central control room of the Sockskar Command Center. Inside, they found the Sockskar commander, a formidable adversary with a cold, calculating demeanor. "You cannot win," the commander sneered. "We are superior in every way." Zack stepped forward, his eyes blazing with defiance. "You underestimated us. You thought we were weak, but you were wrong. Humanity doesn't give up." The fight that followed was intense. The Sockskar commander wielded advanced weapons and combat techniques, but Zack and his team fought with unmatched determination. In the end, the commander fell, and the control room was secured. A critical choice. As the battle drew to a close, Zack received an urgent message from General Matthews. "Captain Keegan, we have an opportunity to strike at the Sockskar's main fleet. It's a high-risk mission, but it could end the war." Zack knew the decision was crucial. The Sockskar fleet was heavily fortified, and the mission would be dangerous. But if successful, it could cripple the Sockskar's ability to fight. "We're ready," Zack replied. "We'll do whatever it takes." The final push. With the command center secured, Zack's team regrouped and prepared for the final push. The Alliance fleet, bolstered by Shiran technology and Driven warriors, launched a coordinated assault on the Sockskar main fleet. The space battle was epic in scale, with massive starships exchanging fire and smaller fighters weaving through the chaos. The Alliance forces fought with everything they had, knowing that this was their chance to end the war. Zack and his team boarded the Sockskar flagship, navigating through intense resistance. They fought their way to the bridge, where they faced the Sockskar admiral, a towering figure with a ruthless reputation. The climactic battle. The fight against the Sockskar admiral was brutal. The admiral's tactical genius and formidable strength pushed Zack and his team to their limits, but they fought with a tenacity born of desperation and hope. Hernandez managed to hack into the flagship's systems, causing critical failures and disarray among the Sockskar crew. Sarah's sharpshooting took down key targets, while Zack engaged the admiral in hand-to-hand combat. In a final, desperate move, Zack delivered a devastating blow, defeating the admiral and securing the bridge. The flagship's systems began to fail, and the Sockskar fleet was thrown into chaos. Victory and reflection. With the Sockskar flagship crippled, the Alliance fleet gained the upper hand. One by one, the Sockskar ships were defeated or forced to retreat. The battle was won, and the war was finally over. As the dust settled, Zack and his team stood on the bridge of the captured flagship, looking out at the remnants of the battlefield. The cost had been high, but their victory was complete. General Matthews' voice came over the comm. "Well done, everyone. The Sockskar threat is over. Humanity and our allies can finally look to a future of peace." Moving forward. In the aftermath of the war, the Alliance focused on rebuilding and strengthening the bonds between the various species. The Dravens, Shirans, and humans worked together to ensure that such a conflict would never arise again. Zack, Sarah, and Hernandez became symbols of unity and resilience, their stories inspiring generations to come. They knew that the journey was far from over, but they faced the future with hope and determination. As they stood together, looking toward the horizon, Zack spoke with a quiet conviction. We fought for our survival, and we won. Now let's build a future worth fighting for. A new dawn. Healing and reconstruction. The Alliance faced the monumental task of rebuilding after the war. Cities lay in ruins, and countless lives had been disrupted. But humanity, along with their Draven and Sharan allies, rose to the challenge with the same determination that had won the war. In the heart of what was once the Soxgar Empire, the Alliance established a new hub for cooperation and development. Engineers and architects from all three species worked together to design cities that embodied unity and progress. Advanced technology from the Sharans and Dravens was integrated with human ingenuity, creating thriving communities that symbolized their shared future. The role of heroes. Zach, Sarah, and Hernandez were celebrated as heroes, but they remained humble, focusing on their roles in the reconstruction efforts. Zach took a leading role in coordinating relief missions, ensuring that resources were distributed fairly and efficiently. Sarah used her skills to train new security forces, helping maintain peace and order. Hernandez, ever the engineer, worked on innovative projects to rebuild infrastructure and enhance technology. General Matthews, now a revered leader in the Alliance, continued to guide the efforts with wisdom and experience. He often reminded everyone of the sacrifices made and the importance of honoring those who had fallen by striving for a better future. New alliances and friendships. The bonds forged in battle between humans, Dravens, and Sharans deepened as they worked side by side in peace. Cultural exchanges flourished, with festivals and celebrations that highlighted the richness of each species' heritage. Zach and Thanner, once warriors from different worlds, became close friends, their camaraderie a testament to the power of unity. They often shared stories and experiences, learning from each other and growing stronger in their bond. Sarah and Zexar, who had fought together in many critical missions, found common ground in their dedication to security and justice. They collaborated on training programs and initiatives to ensure that the Alliance remained vigilant and prepared for any future threats. A future of exploration. With the immediate threats neutralized, humanity and their allies turned their gaze to the stars. The exploration of new worlds and the search for knowledge became a primary focus. The Alliance established a fleet of exploration vessels, equipped with the best technology from all three species. Zach, Sarah, and Hernandez were given command of one such vessel, the Unity, symbolizing their enduring partnership. Their mission was to explore uncharted territories, seeking out new life, and expanding the horizons of the Alliance. The legacy of the war. As the years passed, the war against the Soxgar became a powerful chapter in the history of the Alliance. It was remembered not just for the conflict and destruction, but for the triumph of cooperation and the indomitable spirit of its people. Monuments were erected in honor of those who had fought and sacrificed. Stories of bravery and resilience were passed down through generations, inspiring future leaders and explorers. Reflections and new beginnings. On the anniversary of the end of the war, a grand ceremony was held at the Alliance's central hub. Representatives from humanity, the Dravens, and the Sharans gathered to commemorate their shared victory and reaffirm their commitment to peace and progress. Zach, Sarah, and Hernandez stood together on the podium, looking out at the diverse crowd. Zach spoke, his voice steady and filled with emotion. "We fought for our survival, and we built a future worth fighting for. Now we look to the stars, not just as humans, Dravens, or Sharans, but as one united people, ready to face whatever challenges and opportunities lie ahead." As the crowd erupted in applause, the three heroes felt a deep sense of fulfillment. They had played a part in shaping a new era, one defined by unity, resilience, and the boundless potential of the human spirit. A new era. The Unity embarked on its maiden voyage, carrying with it the hopes and dreams of the Alliance. As they traveled through the vast expanse of space, Zach, Sarah, and Hernandez knew that their journey was just beginning. They explored strange new worlds, encountered diverse civilizations, and faced challenges that tested their ingenuity and resolve. Through it all, they remained steadfast in their mission, guided by the principles that had brought them together. The legacy of their journey would continue to inspire future generations, reminding them that no matter how vast the universe, the spirit of cooperation and the drive to explore and innovate would always light their way. And so, under the endless stars, humanity and its allies forged a new destiny, united in purpose and bound by the shared belief that the future was theirs to shape.